Hello, I'm Jackson Green, and this is my audience. The Drifter. I'm just an old has-been decoy, no ribbons have I won. My sides and head are full of shot from many a blazing gun. My home has been by the river, just drifting with the tide. No roof have I had for shelter, no one place I could abide. I've rocked to winter's wild fury, I've scorched in the heat of the sun. I've drifted and drifted and drifted, for tides never cease to run. I was picked up by some fool collector who put me up here on a shelf, but my place is out on the river where I can drift all by myself. I want to go back to the shoreline where flying clouds hang thick and low and get that touch of the raindrops and the velvety soft touch of snow. Written by Lim Ward. When hunting for ducks, decoys are used to lure them in closer. I come from a family of generational hunters. Experience from hunting with family, friends, and professional guides has given me detailed knowledge of duck decoys. Generally speaking, most do not realize the complexity of duck decoys. Today I'll be sharing with you some history of duck decoys, different options to choose from, along with how they are used. First, let's talk about the history of duck decoys and how they have evolved. Discovery proves evident that for centuries, hunters have used duck decoys as a tool to aid in their success. According to the Missouri Department of Conservation, the earliest known waterfowl decoys are more than 2,400 years old and were found well preserved in a Nevada cave in 1924. The Native Americans had made these decoys out of reed, clay, and feathers. Later, the European settlers would revise this technique by hand carving decoys from wood. As the population grew, so did supply and demand. Duck hunting became a popular sport and duck meat was considered a delicacy. As a result, the post-World War I era witnessed a shift from wooden decoys to mass-produced decoys from other materials. Today, antique wooden duck decoys have become a modern-day collector's item. The Hook and Barrel magazine reported that in the summer of 2018, Guyot and Dieter Auction House sold an antique mallard hen and drake for $1.1 million. Now that I've given you a little history about duck decoys, we're going to talk about some of the different options to choose from. As stated in Real Foods of Texas, when choosing duck decoys, hunters must carefully consider the species they're targeting, the environment they'll be hunting in, and the scale of the decoys that best suit their strategy. Species-specific decoys are elaborately detailed to mirror the image and size of ducks. Both hens and drakes are replicated. Motion decoys are motorized, battery-operated, and species-specific. The rotation of the wings will create water movement within the decoy flock. The most common species in our area is the mottled duck. Unlike most species, the mottled duck is non-migratory because they do not flock with others. Duck decoys are not needed when hunting. Now that we've discussed the history of duck decoys along with some different types, let's discuss how they are used. To lure ducks closer into shooting range and make them feel it is safe to land. Decoys are used to mimic a natural spread of flocked birds. Wind direction and duck behavior must be considered to strategically arrange a decoy spread. Ducks approach landing areas by flying into the wind, as explained in Meat Eater Hunting. They cup their wings to create drag and then touch down feet first. Decoys should be placed so that your back is facing the wind. Ducks like to land in a hole in the middle of the flock because they like to put other ducks between themselves and potential danger. Arranging the decoys in a U shape with the opening facing downwind is one of many strategic spread examples. Much of the duck hunting in this area is done from shallow marshland. This offers countless situations to consider when strategizing the use of duck decoys. In conclusion, you have learned about the use of duck decoys. Duck decoys are complex and offer many intricate details. Today I've shared with you a little of the history about duck decoys, the different options to choose from, and how they are used. I hope that you have found this information about duck decoys to be interesting and maybe even inspiring. Grab some decoys and meet me in the marsh.